It's Jason with Chicago News. This week we're going to check out this really beautiful Genesis G80 Sport sedan. Grills are kind of getting to be a status symbol on the front of some of these luxury sedans. No difference here, really big imposing grille. It's definitely a handsome car, it's just these grills are getting a bit out of hand. As you can see, this is a big sedan. Of course it pays a penalty when it comes to weight, but as far as a full-size sedan, you've got all the rear seat room you're ever going to want here. You can definitely pick out the sport version with these big 4-piston brakes behind these aggressive wheels, but the Continental all-season tires kind of let the handling down. If this had something like a Pilot Super Sport, which have been on a couple of the cars we recently tested, I think the handling would really stand up to the Sport name a little bit better. Lots of really great details though here, like these headlights, the projectors on the inside, really cool look here. All right, let's see what this thing's all about. Behind the wheel of this G80 Sport, I'm feeling a lot more luxury than I am the sport part of things. The interior itself feels like a sport version. You've got these carbon fiber and aluminum inserts, really actually beautiful interior in this car, but you know, it has a really insulated luxury feel and you can feel the weight. This is not a light car by any stretch. You hear sport, you think light and nimble. This is not light or nimble. But with this 3.3 liter twin turbo V6, it's pretty quick. It's not just the materials that are nice here on the inside, it's the layout as well. The way the touchscreen is right within reach, all of the HVAC controls and the radio controls in the center here. Not too many buttons, not too few buttons. It's really a great balance. All of these features and ergonomics, the shift paddles, the controls over on the left for the headlights, everything is just right within reach. It's really laid out well. Even this center control pad, it's got all of your navigation buttons, seat heat, camera views. Right here ahead of the headrest is in a great place. A lot of these center control units are in an awkward place where your arm wouldn't necessarily sit, so you wouldn't necessarily use it that much, or if you do, it would feel awkward. This one is placed perfectly. I've got my arm on the armrest and my hand lays right where the controls are. Let's see what this 3.3 can do. Great low-end torque. The 8-speed automatic kicks right into the gear that you would want. You know, for a 4,500-pound sedan, it's really quick. You know, in establishing itself as a luxury brand, Genesis has almost surpassed what Lexus, Infiniti, and Acura have done, and that is to really create a new brand. You know, the others share much more identity with their parent brand. You know, this feels like a different car company and they're presenting it as such. You know, when you compare this to a lot of the German competitors that are obviously the target for this vehicle, this really stands up, and it's certainly a great value. Starting at $56,000 for the rear drive version, there aren't a lot of options available. This is basically, it comes with everything already. It's got lane assist, radar cruise control, all of the different camera blind spot monitors that you might want, heated and cooled seats, basically all the entertainment options you might want, Lexicon stereo, which is fantastic. It all comes for $56,000. The next, you know, you start to build, let's say an Audi A6 or BMW 5 Series, with all the same options, you're going to be $10,000 above that. You can easily be $20,000 and $30,000 above this, depending on how you choose your options. So, you know, it's hard to look at cars that are in the $50,000, $60,000 range and say that they're a bargain, but the average buyer might not necessarily be able to afford a car in this price range. They might be looking more in the $30,000 range. But if you're shopping for luxury cars, full-size luxury cars like this, why not save this much money? It's a big chunk. As far as the infotainment system and the navigation goes, really fantastic and simple to use here as well. It's a very standard system. There's really nothing innovative about it, but everything is in a great place, easy to access. It's got some really cool features like this Sirius XM subscription data service that shows you, you know, fuel prices, weather, traffic, all sorts of information. You know, lots of great stuff and easy to use. A lot of the systems have more features but are much harder to access those features. Obviously great phone connectivity as well. It's got full Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. You can connect your device, mirror it on the screen here. There's tons of charging ports. There's a wireless charging slot right here. As far as integration with your technology, everything you could wish for is right here as well. There's a few styling cues on the interior here that show that Genesis is at least trying to borrow a couple ideas from other brands and give you the feeling that you might get in other brands. One of those is this center clock here. That's a mainstay on a lot of European luxury vehicles as well. As far as the active safety features go, again, we've talked about this before. They can be a little sensitive, and this one's a little bit more to the sensitive side. Obviously, these systems are the future, where all of our cars are going to be equipped with them, but you know, we've talked about this, and you really want them to be a little more seamless and not to come on at every slightest thing. When you drive this in close quarters in city traffic, it's definitely giving you warnings all the time, and you know, ultimately that's going to make someone turn the system off or ignore the warnings, and that leads you right back into an accident situation. So there's definitely some fine-tuning with the sensitivity that could go on there, but the systems definitely work. They definitely get your attention, and the lane assist is a very effective lane keeping system. So overall, all of the safety features you could want with maybe just a little too much sensitivity. Really, the biggest confusion point we have here is the sport aspect of this. It's a great luxury sedan, definitely has some sporting intentions, but let's maybe try and take this out on the track and see if we can find the sport out there. So Genesis is probably not a car you would think about to take on the track, but this G80 Sport 3.3T, it's actually quite at home out here. 365 horsepower out of this turbo 6-cylinder, very torquey. There's a lot of body roll here, but the actual steering feel is fantastic. Definitely handles better than I was expecting it. A lot of bigger performance sedans don't feel as big when you're driving them. This one still, you can tell you're driving a pretty big car. It's fun to drive, it's nimble. I mean, this isn't a track weapon by any stretch of the imagination. You're not gonna go do track days in a car like this, but it's really great performance. Oh. Not only did it not let us slide, it tightened the seatbelt as soon as we got sideways. It's like, you're gonna crash, you're gonna crash. Unless there's some settings hidden in the menu here, even with full sport mode and the traction control off, there's still stability control here, so not gonna be able to do much drifting with this. Well, it's definitely fun on the track, but I'm not sure it's as sporting as the name implies or as the looks promise. So again, great from a luxury perspective, certainly fun, but not the sportiest sport version ever tried. Well, so what do we think about this G80 Sport? This hits all the notes when it comes to luxury. It's maybe missing a little bit of the sport character that we might like, but overall, it's an incredible value for a full-size luxury sedan. Genesis is really starting to hit their stride, and we're becoming fans.